Welcome to Come Back with Erica Cobb, a community of folks like yourselves who are getting ready and staying ready for their next chapter. Now, my guest today is someone really special to me because she's not only a dynamic woman and entrepreneur, but she also made me a cover girl on her publication, Cherry Creek Fashion. Please welcome to the show, Esther Lee Leach. Esther! You know, you've done it all. You've modeled, you've worked for publications, you've done the reporting. So tell me a little bit about how you started in this industry of fashion.
I'm an island girl. I'm from the Caribbean, from St. Lucia, and I've always been interested in creating content, whether it be like radio, TV, newspapers, back in the day, magazines. Even when I was younger, I remember like writing my little teen romance novels and just creating books with photos of myself in the front, very cheesy. But I always wanted to create content. So when I was a teenager, I started a TV production company with my sister. And we had a teen show, a travel show, and we just created what we wanted to see on TV. And at the time, there was nobody our age representing on television. So we said, why not? Let's do it. Let's be like the Caribbean Oprah, I always say. So we did that and we went from there. And I've always written as well. So I started writing for newspapers and magazines, eventually becoming the senior fashion editor for Magazine The Caribbean, doing a lot of styling of covers, going to fashion weeks. So I've been doing this my whole life. It's really, really the love of my life. I love it.
I really want to talk about your publication, Cherry Creek Fashion, because for those of you who have been following me for a while, I've been living in Denver since 2009, and Cherry Creek is a very affluent area. We already have a very small representation of Black people in Denver, and Cherry Creek would be one of those places where, and if you are a person of color, you know what this means. When Big Mama says, oh no, that's for rich people, that's code for that's for people who aren't Black. And that's what Cherry Creek really has been. It's been an area for, quote, rich people. And so the idea that you are the owner and editor-in-chief of Cherry Creek Fashion as a Black woman.
My big ass afro.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that is a representation that I truly appreciate being in the city for as long as I have. So what gave you this idea?
Before I tell you about that, let me just say that Cherry Creek used to be a Black area before. Like, that's the history of Cherry Creek. Before it was kind of like, changed. It used to be the Black community in Denver. So now we're just kind of mixing it up again, getting back to that. When I moved here to Denver, I took a couple of years off to have my son. And after that, I was itching to get back out there, get back to work, but I wanted to do something on my own. I wanted to do my own company, and it had to be something with content. And I looked in the market, and I thought that there was lacking like a fashion sort of focused publication for this area especially. And I wanted to start with this area, get the branding done here, and then branch out to the rest of Colorado. So I thought, like, why don't I start it? Why not?
So you have been able to really connect with community, and I mean, it's amazing to see you grow, because I know that you started in January 2019, and it's like you would never know. Like, it seems like you've been around for decades at this point, because you're such a well-oiled machine. You truly are. So tell me about your community outreach in terms of making sure that you're reaching out to the small businesses in order to amplify them as well.
Because the thing is, I'm from St. Lucia. And in St. Lucia, you step outside of your home and you get to talk to 20 people before you get around the block. Because everybody knows you, everybody knows your family, or how's your mother, your auntie, your nenen. So when I came to Cherry Creek, I looked at it like an island, because it sort of is a very small, tight-knit community. And I just went out there and I met everybody. I just walked into shops. I spoke to them on Instagram. I sent emails. I'm like, can we have a coffee? And I just did that months and months before I actually put out the first issue of the magazine. By the time the magazine came out, I sort of had a real community waiting to read it. And I've just continued doing that, like reaching outside of Cherry Creek as well, and just meeting interesting people. Like, I always find like the face-to-face is really, really important. I know that now it's a little bit harder, But when you can, get out there in the open air, have a coffee with people, meet them, get to know their story. And I'm always genuinely interested in people's backgrounds, their stories. So that really helps as well.
Esther, bless you, my sister. I just love you to death.
Too.
And I really hope, Comeback Kids, that, you know, these conversations are always kind of like you're a little fly on the wall, and I appreciate being a fly on several different walls, because there's so much wisdom and experience to gain from people who are really living in their truth and their passion, just like Esther. So thank you, Comeback Kids, for spending a little bit of time with us on Comeback with Erica Cobb. For more on the podcast, go to comeback.tv.